Good morning. It's time to wake up, y'all. You're listening to the Armchair Quarterback Show. We're here weekdays on CBS Radio, YouTube Live, 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 Central, 5 Pacific. The Armchair Quarterback Show, your first choice for Southern sports talk. Good morning, Mr. Justin Waller.
Good morning. I don't know much, but I know one thing. It took 3 1/3 games for the Predators to win 2 games and tie their series with the Hurricanes at 2-2. Congrats, boys.
Hi, I'm Mac McGee, and I don't know much, but I know one thing. The Braves are on a 3-game winning streak. It's against the Pirates, but we're on a 3-game winning streak. How about that?
Hey, check it out. A snow cone machine.
A snow cone machine?
You're saying it wrong. It's a snow cone machine. When an undeliverable package goes 6 months without being claimed by the sender or the sendee, the driver gets to keep it.
And you just happened to land a snow cone machine? I'm smelling foul play.
Where can I put this bed?
No. I don't have any counter space.
Oh, what is this thing?
That's the bread maker.
Bye-bye.
No, come on. You love bread.
Yeah, and if I was coming home to fresh baked bread every night, or even once, you'd have a point.
Oh, like you're going to make snow cones every day? Actually, you probably will. Okay, give it to me. I'll find room for the crap cabinet.
Hey, fella, this is your new home. Welcome to Counterville.
Doug, I just found your old milkshake machine.
Oh, we're going to have to move the toaster.
Armchair.
Community Access Channel.
He's the armchair quarterback. He's full of beer and he's full of snacks. The all-American man.
Hey, howdy, hi. Top of the morning to you. Welcome to the Armchair Quarterback Radio Show. Mac McGee and Justin Waller. Justin, how the hell are you, sir?
Well, to be honest, I'm still a little tired from not only yesterday's game, but Friday's Panthers game. The boys know how to stress the tickers out. They have definitely maximized that damage this weekend.
You said Panthers, or did you mean Predators?
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, but I'll tell you what, that game was a freaking marathon yesterday. I don't know why, but it felt longer than the one on Friday, even though they both were realistically the same. I think it's just because at night when it goes late, it doesn't seem like it's taking as much of your day up as when a day game goes that late. I was keeping an eye on that and watching it, and man, all I could keep thinking is, if they get the second W here, what a different series this is, just because of getting to overtime, because in theory could have been swept out of the playoffs, and instead it's 2-2 going back to Carolina, which at this point I feel like the Predators are playing with house money, and all the pressure now comes on to Carolina going back home, because if they don't get the W when they go back home for game 5, they're going to go back into Pred land with a lot on the line, and it's going to be difficult to get. I think they're going to have a hard time winning in Nashville, I guess is what I'm trying to get to.
I'm not going to say it can't be done. They've done it numerous times. I do think that rolling into Bridgestone Arena with I'm not going to say a full crowd, but a fuller crowd to actually, hey, Riley, that's cute. You got to have your fans. Now we get to have ours too. So I think after a year and a half, a lot of these teams coming out of the bubble last season and then the no fans this season, you are seeing some momentum and some shifts. Teams are feeding off of it. And I think it's just the uniqueness of not being there, because we've talked about in the past how sometimes I don't really know if the crowd swings the momentum the way that you see in other sports in hockey, just because of the pace and the speed at which it's going. Does it really have that effect? But I think you're seeing it postseason in a lot of these full houses, and be really interesting when the Canadian teams swap over, or they figure out laters in round 3 and 4, and you put those guys in front of a crowd that they haven't seen in 2 years. So it'll be interesting. My glaring thing in this series is, it's 2-2. It very well could have been 3-1. It very well could have been swept out, exactly like you mentioned. But game 2 is still going to be the game, the 1-0 game. Now the scoreboard, I think, says it was 2 or 3-0. They got 2 empty netters at the very end, so that really doesn't dictate play of a 1-0 game. You had 7 power plays versus their 1 or 2. They did not have many. It was a very lopsided game, and they got no scores. They got
And I'm
blanketed
still
on the
seeing,
scoreboard.
the one thing, the glaring thing that still jumps out at me every time, it just tells you how well Saros is playing. But the number of shots on goal Carolina's getting compared to Nashville, you worry about it. It's stressing, eventually breaking the dam. But I mean, so far, the guys played, I think, is about as well as you can expect, right?
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, even in the loss, some of the man, there was a lot of weird bounces in this series. The first 2 games, that a lot of these goals, I mean, they're just going to happen. You can't. It doesn't matter who you are. Some of these deflections and weird ricochets that you get in hockey, you just got to chalk those up to, hey man, you got to play better in front of me and keep the lane clear, so we don't have those. There's nothing on the skill level of a goalie that's going to take away that deflection. So nothing really you can do about it, even though a lot of fans that don't really pay attention to it, they see the high score and they're like, oh, he sucks, get him out of there. Well, no, he doesn't. You don't know hockey.
Right. Moving on from that, Phil Mickelson becomes the oldest player to ever win a major championships at 50 years old, and whatever days it was. I don't have it in front of me. I do know that he was the first one at 50. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I, for one, was expecting him to blow it at some point this week, and it's been his MO for the last several years. I think one of the biggest thing that has changed is he's taken his health very seriously. The guy looks like in phenomenal shape. For a 50-year-old golfer, he looks like that he should be trying out for tight end, not Tim Tebow, right? I mean, he's in incredible shape and stayed through. Koepka did his best. What I was expecting from Koepka is we were going to go withdraw at some point because his unstable knee, and I kept waiting for it. I was like, man, this guy's doing well, considering a lot of people didn't think he was going to play in the tournament, but he did well. I mean, he finished second. I can't take anything away from him, but you wonder what he might have been able to do if he wasn't, so banged up. I'm hoping that he's healthy and ready to roll by US Open, so that because Koepka doesn't look as jacked as he normally does. Normally he's looking kind of DeChambeau-ish, right? And so I don't know if that was intentional, or if that's got to do with the fact that he hasn't been able to do as much with the knee. But you can't take anything away from Phil. He just played an incredible round of golf. Did you get a chance to catch much of it with the excitement of the Preds going on?
No, that train wreck ruined my Sunday afternoon. So there was nothing but edge of the seat, damn near heart attack for 3 hours going on at
He
my
had
house.
a couple of, like, we'll say, there were a couple of times where Phil could have lost it. I never had a feeling on the back nine on Sunday that he wasn't going to win. He just felt like he was in complete control, was playing incredible golf, and tip of the cap to him. And also the interesting thing, so the one major he's never won famously is the US Open, right? Well, if you listen to the Sports Flash at the beginning of the live broadcast, they're playing it in Torrey Pines this year. Phil Mickelson was born in San Diego, so it's essentially his home course. So that will be an interesting, fun story to follow when we get up to the US Open, is can he finally get that elusive US Open that he's never been able to corral? And if he could do it in his hometown, it'd be even more phenomenal. So that could really be a big story this summer if he ends up pulling it off.
Well, I have a good chance he's tigerless. I know that's held him back in the past. But it's good to see it. I'm not going to rain on Phil's parade. I mean, I find golf like lusterless without Tiger, so it's hard for me. But for the average golf fan, they love that. And the Phil fans, hey, enjoy the moment, enjoy the day. Pretty cool with an old dude. I'm starting to get where I pull for the old dudes now that I'm becoming one. So, hey,
there you go.
Put one in the cap of the old dudes.
Welcome. Have a
seat. He is a lefty, though. He's completely backwards. I don't know if I really stand with him,
Yeah, well,
he does everything wrong.
Well, I mean, I'm ambidextrous, so I've never had that kind of giddy up with people. It depends on what I'm doing. I'm either right-handed or left-handed, but I've always thought maybe it's a hindrance because he's lefty, because there's a lot of these courses, they'll talk about how much more difficult it is for a left hand, because they design these courses for right-hand hitters, because most people are. But anyways, he's the most famous lefty. I know there's other lefties in golf, but I know that's true. But when you say lefty, I immediately think of Phil Mickelson, right? It's just like, when you say lefty in baseball, the first thing that comes to my mind is Sandy Koufax. I know there's other left-handers, but that's the guy that I think of. The Lakers lose to the Suns. I know you don't follow basketball much, but I'm giddy over that. I want to see the Lakers knocked out, and the Suns look good. I mean, they looked really good. They'll have the game 2 tomorrow night. Won't spend much time on that today, but Lakers versus Suns ought to be a lot of fun. They're already stammering and coming up with excuses, and this next game will be back in Phoenix, so they could be very well 0-2. If they're 0-2 going back to Los Angeles, this is going to be a big story because the NBA is going to be freaking out, and I'm going to be very, very dialed into what calls they start getting, because they believe that LeBron would help the ratings. I believe the exact opposite, Justin. I believe if LeBron's not in the finals, more people will watch because they're so disgusted by him. You as kind of a neutral fan out there, are you more likely to watch if LeBron isn't involved or is involved?
Oh, that's interesting because he, love him or hate him, he draws you to the TV, he makes you watch. So by having him out, I don't know if I even have interest at that point. It's very interesting. I mean, I'm secretly pulling for the Suns. I can't name one player on their roster. So you call that bandwagon. I think I've
Chris
jumped
Paul.
upon.
There you go.
There we go. Thanks for hooking me up. But yeah, if they're not in there, I don't know. Memphis would be the only saving grace. I see they got to win.
How about them? Yeah. What about them getting a W last night? Not only did they shock everybody, I think everyone was shocked that Golden State was knocked out in the play-in game on Friday night. But then I thought they would be exhausted and would just kind of go through the motions. I didn't watch the game. I'm not going to lie to you. I went to bed. I was tired and whatnot, and woke up this morning and Memphis beat Utah, which that would be a huge shock if they end up winning that series.
Yeah, I was completely surprised about that, and especially that my son stayed up late and apparently snuck it, and I heard him cheering back there trying to figure out why in the world he's up so late, and I'm like, what in the heck is that boy watching or doing?
I remember those days trying to be quiet but also being excited because you're watching some game late. Yeah, I remember that.
I don't know what went down, but something went. It must have been the game winner or the late 3 that put them in it or tied it up and kept it close, but something got him, and yeah, it reminded me of those moments, like you said, when you're a child and she was on the other foot. We're trying to keep our pops from running through the house to beat us because we're waking him up on a work night.
And then he comes out and he's like, I can't be mad at you. You're watching sports. At least you're not cheering on the ballet or something, pissing me off because you're streaming, the real world or whatever. Yeah, that right there, that's probably the biggest shock of the weekend to me. Is it now? Do I think Memphis is going to win that series? Probably not. But I do like watching Ja Morant. He's fun to watch, and just reacting to the tweets that I saw from some of the people that I follow that are basketball fans, they were getting pissed off at Ja Morant because they had bet on the Jazz. So, anyways, I guess from my take of it, from what I'm understanding, they wore him out with the pick and roll, and Utah kept falling for it over and over again. One of the guys that does the gambling show on ESPN, he at least 3 tweets last night that I woke up to this morning. Would you quit doing the same thing over and over? Can you just stay on your man? And I guess Ja Morant and company were wearing him out. The Knicks lost. That was a big deal. If you listen to New York sports radio leading up to that, you would have thought that the Hawks have no shot of beating the Knicks. They lose. And the Atlanta fans have to love what Trae Young did, Justin. He hits a game-winning running lay-in with like less than a second left, and he does this number to the crowd in New York. So he's already become their villain. And evidently, by the way, you remember about a year or so ago when there was the big controversy that Spike Lee was asked to leave the arena, and there was a big thing, and we come to find out that he pretty much blew it out of proportion, and he basically tried to say that the owner of the Knicks was treating him unfair and blah. Anyways, the truth came out, and it was an overreaction. But his statement was that he was done with the Knicks after all these years of being a Knicks fan. He's done with them. Evidently, he was all over the screen last night. I didn't get to watch much of the game. I'm seeing highlights now, and they're showing him, and he's right there courtside once again. So he was anti-Knicks, and they started winning again. By the way, he's the only one that I saw on the floor wearing a mouth diaper, with all the fans right next to him. So that tells me that either he has not gotten his vaccine, or B, he's being even overly dramatic in wearing the mouth diaper and has the vaccine. But anyways, that's a different topic for a different day. But he's in the area where if you're vaccinated, you don't need it. But he was wearing the mouth diaper. So anyways, I found that interesting that Spike Lee is back on the court, even though he said he would never be back again. It's kind of funny what winning does for you, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, kind of funny what a sex scandal does for you, and it opens up attendance at sporting venues in New York City. I think Cuomo's gaining some popularity, so it's kind of odd.
Oh, speaking of that, speaking of sex scandals, did you see that they are not expecting the deposition to be held? So long story short, they're scheduling Deshaun Watson's reaction and the deposition to the 22 sexual assault claims won't be until February of 2022. It's like a week after the Super Bowl. Isn't that funny?
What's his contract status? That's what's even funnier.
Well, he just signed a 4-year deal that I think started last year. So he's got 3 years left of.
So that would put him at the midway point to where they could probably trade off if they needed to. It's an interesting time, and they wait till after the season where then you have, you've already paid for this year. So they're going to ride this out.
I got to find the date, but when I saw the date in my head, I saw it this morning. So I didn't, do the math, but at the time when I saw it, the first thing I thought of was that sounds like it's about a week after the freaking Super Bowl. I mean, yeah, after the Super Bowl. I'll find it here in a second, but they said that he was not going to be basically being interviewed until after it happens, until after the season happens. And I was like, wow, here it is. February 22nd, 2022, Deshaun Watson's sworn deposition in 22 lawsuits against him is not scheduled to be taken until February 22nd, 2022. And
that's a lot of twos.
That is
two.
This is wild in Vegas, baby. So I'm going to fast forward my calendar here. And I think if memory serves me correct, yeah, that's about a week after the Super Bowl. Because I believe the Super Bowl is on the 13th this year. Now, come on.
Well, he'll be well rested because they won't be playing in the Super Bowl.
Now, come on. They have to wait that long for a civil suit deposition? Come on.
What's their backlog, Mac? I mean, they haven't been running for the past 18 months.
I mean.
Oh, no, wait a minute. We're talking about Texas. They've been open. Can't use that excuse.
Exactly. What the hell's going on here?
I don't know. Wouldn't you rather do it in the summer months where like it's hot and the sun's helping you, but you're going to wait for the cold of winter where everybody gets sick again?
I would think he would want to get it out of the way. So if he's going to get suspended, he gets it out of the way.
I would have thought the NFL would have wanted it out of the way before season had end, because it's going to be an underlying topic with any success, with any failure. It's just going to be the looming cloud over the franchise the entire season long. You would think the NFL would completely want to avoid that, especially with some of the high profile cases they've had with players and accusations and stuff here recently in the past. So very interesting.
I just find it really, the thing is, he doesn't want to play in Houston, right? Well, he's got to know this cloud hanging over him is not going to get him traded out of Houston in all likelihood until they figure out what's going on with it. Cause you want to know what am I dealing with? What am I trading for? Well, now they've punted it, I guess, maybe the thought process is they think he's easier to be traded because they know he'll play all season, and that Goodell's going to wait until this hammer falls. But to me, I would think he'd want to get it out of the way.
And, there's no value for another team. I mean, are you bringing in a starting franchise quarterback, or are you bringing in a sexual predator? I mean, you really need to know where you're putting your money in this instance. What is going on? And let's get to the bottom of it. And I don't think it does him any justice. Right. I don't think it does any of the 22 accusers any justice to punt this. I mean, essentially, we're kicking it a year down the road from when these started trickling out. Maybe not quite a calendar year, but it's pretty close to it.
Yeah, it's odd. It's really odd because I would think that if you can get yourself, okay, let's just say you realize this year's trashed. You do your deposition, Goodell suspends you. Let's say he goes crazy and suspends you 8 games. I think that's the most he would get suspended. He's probably more likely 4. Well, let's just say it's 8. Okay, it is what it is. Then at that point, we get through the season. You're then a tradable. You can then find yourself a home. They can work their future with Davis Mills, and away we go. Now you wait till February, and we're going to have another year where he could be getting, so February 22nd, he gets his deposition. Okay, let's say they get the whole thing nailed out by the end of the spring next year. Then the suspension is going to go. Who's going to make a major trade for a guy who's going to, wouldn't you think at least 4 games in all likelihood? Just because there's 22. I mean, that seems like a lot for him not to get something.
Oh, there would definitely have to be some. I'm blown away by this one. I do not understand the rhyme or reason why you kick it that far down the road. It doesn't seem to make sense for any of the parties that are involved from any scenario other than a Super Bowl run, which I do not feel. I don't even think the Texans feel they're going to make a Super Bowl run. Deshaun Watson or not.
They're going to help some teams make Super Bowl runs.
I mean, you lost Hopkins, you lost Watts. I have not seen enough come in there to be replaced, primarily because you haven't drafted in the first round the last 2 years. There's just a lack of talent. I don't know how they're going to get past the juggernauts. And now when you add Trevor Lawrence into their own division, wild cards out of the question.
Yeah. Fuller left to go to Miami, so they don't really have a wide receiver to speak with. If I'm them, I'm trying to trade Watson at this point, but you don't want to get screwed on. In other words, you're not trying to trade him for a 4th round draft pick. You want to get some value because he's still one of the most talented players in the league. And what if this comes out and all right, he does his time or whatever, he does four games, and he pays what he may have to pay in civil court. That's still a hell of a player that you're going to get. And at that point, you would think that he would be on the straight and narrow and try to keep his act together. But it's man, I think it's a head scratcher. It is Monday, so I guess we're going to try to do some sorry, dude. And if you're not ready, Justin, sorry, dude. I'll go ahead and go first in case you're scrambling. Hey Matt, sorry dude, but the Braves are only a game and a half behind you after taking 3 against the Pirates and you dropping 2 to the freaking Marlins this weekend. What you got?
St. Louis Blues, Washington Capitals. Sorry dude, you're golfing with Lefty this week.
NBA. Sorry, dude. You've got not only do you have the number 1 seed Jazz in an 0-1 hole, you've got your New York Knicks and the LA Lakers in an 0-1 hole. If they both get bounced in the first round, your hopes and dreams of the ratings going skyrocketing. Wah, 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 wah. You got anything else?
Just my walk-off for the day. Panthers, Oilers, Minnesota Wild fans. Sorry, dude. It's going to be handshake games for all of you.
You're not giving them a chance, huh?
No, not much of all. I haven't seen any fight out of the Oilers. The Jets have steamrolled them. The Knights are doing what they please with the Wild. And, man, the Panthers are hanging in there, and they're scrappy, but they just haven't found the recipe. That's the one game in those 3 tonight that I think could be extended. I'm going to predict that the Jets close it out, the Golden Knights close it out, and I'm a coin toss on the Lightning Panthers. I think at home Panthers put a fight, maybe stretch this series to game 6, but that's the extent of that.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, I should have seen this coming with the Wild, because I've talked about this before on many of shows, how Sean O'Toole's text messages never age very well. Right after the Wild won the first game of the series, he was bragging to me in a text. He goes, I picked the Wild that was going to be one of my first upsets of the, he was going on and on about it. I didn't know enough about the series. And I was like, oh, okay, well, cool. And now, but I've been following the scores. I'm like, they haven't won since. Like his texts age terribly. You never want Sean to send you congratulations on anything, Justin, because it means something. It means you're about to get hit with an anvil or something out of the sky, like Wile E. Coyote or something.
We had a couple of those this basketball season. He's like, don't Tennessee's looking dominant, and I'm like, gee, thanks, Sean.
I mean, they aged.
Wilkerson gets elbowed with a UFC right cross, and he's out the rest of the game. I'm like, geez, thanks, man.
If you look up in the dictionary, text messages that don't age well, there's a picture of Sean. I'm sure Lefty bogeyed at some point on Thursday, and he told someone his career is done. He needs to just give it up. All right, brother. We'll see you tomorrow for a big game for the Preds tomorrow. You know what gets me about the NBA? They're doing it again. They're stretching their series out. How the NHL is getting to it. There's 5 games today, and they're playing every other day. I noticed tonight and tomorrow night there's 2 games apiece in the NBA, which means they'll drag this crap out for however long. But in the regular season, they got to play all these back-to-backs and cram everything in. It's like, what are you doing, dude? Just no one cares about these first round games. Just get them over with. All right, brother.
See you tomorrow, sir.
Yes, sir.
You say your name right now.
Denise.
Say it right.
Denise.
Correctly.
Denise.
Right.
Denise.
Right.
Nice.
That's better. Thank you.
We live in a world now that welcomes and nurtures the screwball in all of us. Hey, it's a new decade, people. Time to get a little nutty. Treat yourself to Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey, a smooth flavor that combines 2 of America's favorites, peanut butter and American whiskey. So no more social awkwardness. Time to embrace who you truly are. Get out there and make friends. And be sure it starts with Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. It's available nearly everywhere. Learn more at screwballwhiskey.com. Infidium Spirits. Please enjoy responsibly.
Okay. I've noticed that Antonio Brown has found yet another sucker to take him on. God knows we've already done Pittsburgh's dirty laundry. I'm curious about one thing. Do you think that he'd be welcomed back as easily in the league if he were going back to Bill Belichick and the Patriots? In other words, you think that he'd be welcome back if you were going to make New England a better team, or if he's going back to Tom Brady?
Armchair.
We are the Armchair Quarterback Show, your first choice for sports talk live from the First Coast.
You get a whole lot of something with Farmers Policy Perks. So much, I'm going to have to speed things up. You can get the Farmers Signal app, and that could get you up to 15% off your auto policy. That's just for using the app and driving like the normal speed limit adhering, full stop making, lane change signaling human being you are. Get a whole lot of something with Farmers Policy Perks. Start with a quote by calling 1-800-FARMERS.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Top Gun Supply stocks a wide range of firearms, so stop on by at Top Gun Supply at 525 State Road 16 in St. Augustine. Top Gun Supply is open 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday. Top Gun Supply, the friendly gun shop.
Well, what do we do? This just got way too complicated.
I've got it. Here's what's going down. Corey, you talk to your team. You guys are going to decline that holding call.
Done.
Yo, wait, but then...
Hold on. Trey Sean, once we break this huddle, you're going to get out there, do some crazy celebration. I'm talking some humpies. Whatever you got to do, you do it.
Okay, I got you.
I'm going to call unsportsmanlike conduct on the celebration, giving the whites better field position after the kickoff. Coach, I need you to talk to your team about letting them run that kickoff back.
Why would I do that?
Think about it. Defense, special team, it's all one. You let them run that kickback, both your defenses get 6 points.
Nice.
Okay, everyone good here?
Yeah.
Nope. Once again, my kicker is getting no love.
Oh, shut up, Bill. Your team is in first place. Plus, you're about to get extra point for the PAT.
Yeah, don't be greedy, Bill.
Stop being greedy, Bill. Bill.
Fine.
Bill.
Yeah, Bill.
I said fine.
Bill.
Bill.
Yeah, Bill. You, Bill.
All right. Let's do this. Get out there.
Wait a minute. Treson comes in with a very delayed celebration here. Oh, wow. I'm pretty sure that's going to be yeah, there it is. Another
Armchair.
No AA Ron, huh? Well, you better be sick, dead, or mute, AA Ron.
Here.
Why didn't you answer me the first time I said it, huh? I'm just asking, I said it like 4 times. So why didn't you say it the first time I said AA Ron?
Because it's pronounced Aaron.
Son of a...
Good morning. Welcome back here, CBS Sports Radio, YouTube Live. And Red Raider Doug is with us. Doug, how the hell are you this morning, sir?
Doing well, thank you.
Did you have a good weekend?
Yeah, not bad at all. Pretty good, actually.
Programming note to everyone. We obviously will not be here next Monday because it's Memorial Day. And so there you go with that. So we won't see Doug for a couple of weeks. But we are going to get into the Raiders and get into the breakdown of them here in a second. Before we do that, fantasy baseball wise, how you teams doing, sir? I haven't had a chance to look at everything this morning.
Oh, it's a downward spiral. It was bad this week. I have to admit, it was horrible. I stole one in the Dynasty League, but the other two, too many injuries, too many people on the DL.
So I'm looking at the Dynasty League. The two of you are you and Rocky Top and Brad Staten Island. The three of y'all are in a 3-way tie for the last slot in the playoffs as of right now. Of course, we got weeks and weeks to go. There's all kinds of things. I can't keep guys healthy. It's driving me crazy. I did get the W this week in the Dynasty League, and that was with me forgetting to double check my roster on Wednesday after I had made a trade with Justin, the Azuna for Alonso trade. It knocked all of my starters out of the damn roster. So I won despite not having 5 of my starts. I had 5 guys go that day. And they did. I was so mad because I counted up. It was around 50 or 60 points. And I was like, if I lose because of this, I'm going to be so pissed off. I ended up smoking them. I scored 550 points in that league or something like that. So I would have scored 600 had I, 559. I would have scored 600, but that's because my batters went bonkers on Friday night. I mean, it was a wrap. Once Friday night hit, because I was nip and tuck with him for the longest time. And that was the night where the Braves scored 20 runs and all in all, between that and Tatis and a bunch of other guys, I had 10 home runs in one night, and it was over. I was like, sweet, I'm gonna roll through here. I think at that point Brad gave up. I think he waited to use his pickups for this week when he was realizing he was going to lose by 200. But I'm going head to head with an anaphylactic shock this week. I see that Rocky Top stole one from him. I thought he'd beaten him. Yeah, I thought Shock had this morning. I could have swore I guess they hadn't put the standings up yet, so I was looking at the old standings. But Rocky Top, I should have brought that up to Justin. He won by less than 2 points on the guy that was tied head to head with me. So that's a big series between he and I. Got any advice for me this week?
Stay away from Spencer Turnbull. Just stay away from him. I am so tired so far. Oh, got to pick up Spencer Turnbull for Monday. Got to pick him up for Monday. Leave that man alone. He got his no-hitter, but he's not going to bring any points this week.
I thought he had a pretty good matchup this week. Does he not?
He's got a good one. I just don't trust him. I mean, always coming after a great start, he always crashes. And he's always kind of fool's gold. I know he got the no-hitter, but I don't trust him.
Yeah, he's actually had 2 good starts in a row. He had 6 innings against Kansas City, 7 Ks, 1 earned run, and then of course he did the no-hitter. So he's had 2 in a row, but I understand where you're coming from. He's at home against Cleveland. I think the problem is after that, I think his second start this week is against the Yankees. So that's the only thing that makes me nervous. But in a points league, it might be worth the pickup just to start him today, and then whatever you get out of him come Saturday is a bonus. I was more on the Austin Gomber train. He's going to be playing against the Mets, and he's not in Colorado. He's in New York. He's got 2 starts this week. He's going up against the Mets, and then the other one I think is against Pittsburgh, possibly. And I know it's somebody that's not very good. I'm pretty sure it's Pittsburgh. And Gomber was a part of that trade that sent Arenado to the Cardinals. He's pitched pretty well. It's kind of a risk, but I'm also looking. The Mets are banged up. They haven't been scoring a lot of runs, so it was worth a roll of the dice. DFS today. What are you liking?
I'll take the obvious one. Take Blake Snell at 8,900. I mean, that's your stud pick of the week for in the pitching category. But I also got a kind of a silent one. I like Sam Hentage from he's starting today, and he's easy to pick up because he hasn't played that well, but he plays for Cleveland. He's starting against Detroit today, and I like that. And
you're not gonna try your boy Shoemaker that you were bragging about?
Hey, he did what he needed to do for me this time to go.
I knew he was junk. He is junk.
Look, he had his early starts.
He got like a 6 ERA. I was looking at him last night because I was like, what? Because I saw he was 2 start this week. I was like, whatever happened to him? Why is he available? So 6.08 ERA, whatever the hell it was. Like,
yeah.
He's absolutely.
He did what he needed to do for me that week, and that was it.
I'll tell you who's enticing, but man, he's costing a lot. Especially considering the fact that the capabilities that Minnesota does have offensively is John Means is 10,200. That seems like a high risk to me. When you're going to be at Minnesota, that smells like a game that you're going to overpay for a starter, and he could get just pummeled. So I'm a little leery of that. Turnbull is he's available. I do like Gomber at 5,600. I think that's the steal of the day. And as far as because you always have to start a second pitcher, I think I actually would go Turnbull because the only other guy down in that range would be like Kim, and Kim is at Chicago White Sox, and I don't trust him. He's a solid pitcher, but he's not a strikeout guy. And so as far as fantasy goes, I'm a little leery of him. But Trey Mancini at 5,500 going against Shoemaker. Boom, shakalaka, boom, shakalaka. Dial it in, baby. Let's go.
I'll tell you what, when DFS recently, second base is ugly for today. So I was thinking about the only guy that looks good to me and is at really good value is I would pick up Jed Lowry at $4,100 at the Mariners.
Yeah, he is getting that. It's going to be against Kikuchi though. It's not exactly the most ideal, but yeah, second base is. It's probably your best bet, unfortunately.
Yeah, and it's not that much of a risk at $4,100. You're not. It's not a terrible gamble. And Kikuchi has not been playing that well, and I just like Jed. I just like the matchup today.
Yeah, and I would not overpay for Jose Ramirez either. I'm looking at him at 5,800. I think that's too high to pay for him. For as far as third base goes, I don't know. That's kind of a crapshoot there because there's not one. There's so many teams that are off. You don't have one that jumps out at you per se. Maybe you go McMahon against Peterson for 4,500. That's a tough one, but we'll go ahead and move on to the National Football League as we are doing our year predictions, and we are on the almighty Raiders. What are the Raiders going to do this year? Let me make sure I get ducks in a row here on the prediction board. Are you feeling good about this year? Is this a year where they turn the corner, or is it going to be much more of the same?
I'm kind of pessimistic. I hate to say that. God love the Raiders, but until they prove that they've done something with that defense, that these picks that they did in the draft and picking up Hayward, and that all starts to work, I'm very pessimistic because this schedule is I think it's a rough schedule this year, especially if they haven't improved on defense. It could be a long year.
I'm really surprised that they haven't. Really surprised Chucky has not done something in his. This is going to be his third season, and he is still with David Carr as his or Derek Carr as his starting quarterback. I really thought when he came in, he would go get his guy, right?
Yeah.
Draft a guy, something, and he seems to be perfectly fine with Carr. I mean, look. The Raiders are an obvious landing point for Aaron Rodgers. We were talking about this last hour, how the deposition is not going to be until late February of 2022 for the civil suit cases for Deshaun Watson. I mean, if you're the Raiders, why don't you go take a swing at Deshaun Watson? See what you can do with him. They've got to be ready to move on. The Raiders seem to be pretty slutty when it comes to giving away draft picks, so you might as well just give your draft picks away. At least the one thing you know about Deshaun Watson, he's gonna like Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Things he was trying to force people to do in Houston is perfectly legal in Las Vegas. I say just pony up and go get him, and it would be a match made in heaven. Look, you'll have to deal with whatever he's gonna end up facing in suspension, but it is what it is. And then you move on. You got one of the best talents in the NFL. I'm a little surprised that they don't do something with him.
I think if they don't, that's a Mayock thing. Mayock doesn't
buy low, because you're not going to get him any lower than you are right now.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I just could see Mayock not just. I don't like him. You know. I could see that, but I do agree. I don't know why right now would be the perfect time. But I also can make the argument. I mean, Derek Carr has not played badly. I don't know why everybody's so down on Derek Carr. I mean, statistically,
because I don't think he's the quarterback that's going to get you to the promised land. When you have a division that has Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert, and may end up with Aaron Rodgers in Denver if you don't watch it. I think it's an arms race, and it's an arms race. You have to go get yourself an arm. And Derek Carr has proven to be an okay quarterback. He's decent. I'll even call him good, but he's not a top tier quarterback in the NFL. And Watson gives you so many more things to play with. You could make Carr a part of the trade, or maybe you trade Carr somewhere else after you get Watson, right? So you get Watson, and then you try to get some draft picks back from Carr, because there's some teams out there that would make a trade for Carr. They wouldn't go crazy, but you're trying to tell me that a team like the Washington football team wouldn't go out and give up a draft pick or two to see if Derek Carr could save them?
Yeah,
it's just anyways. Well, real quick before we get into this, did you watch much of the PGA Championship, or were you doing other things?
Yeah, I actually caught the tail end of it. And I'm not a big golf guy, but that was fascinating to watch. Didn't know who was who, but I loved it anyway.
Well, I'm sure you'd heard of Phil Mickelson.
Phil Mickelson, yes, of course, but no, that was impressive. That was something fun to watch.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get into it, and we'll go ahead and look at this. You see this thing right here?
It's
a golf club, right? It's a pen. It's an ink pen. Look at there. All right. I'm only using it because I can't find my real pen. So hopefully the thing has ink in it. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. Ravens Monday night game to start it all off. What you got?
I got the Ravens winning this one. The Raiders will score points. I think it'll be a high scoring game, but in the end, like I said, unless the Raiders prove right away that their defense is adjusted, I got the Ravens winning this one.
I'm gonna give Vegas the benefit of the doubt. I say they get the home win. All right, so game 2's at the Steelers.
Steelers offensive line. If they haven't made that adjustment with that tackle, if Leatherwood doesn't work out, I got the Steelers winning this one. I think Derek Carr is going to spend a lot of time on his back if they haven't.
All right, so they're 0-2, and now they go back home to the Miami Dolphins.
Dolphins, it'll be a close one. I think it'll be an offensive shootout, and that's where the problem might lie. Again, I don't know what's going on with the defense, so I'm going to give the Dolphins a close one in that one.
Man, you got your Raiders starting off 0-3. I've actually got them 2-1. I think they'll beat the Dolphins. I think they'll beat the Ravens. The Steelers will be a tough one on the road. Then they go to the Chargers in game number 4, a Monday night game on ESPN.
The Chargers, AFC West. I think the Raiders will win this one. I think it'll be close. It'll be like a 28-24, but I got the Raiders winning this one.
I actually got the Chargers sneaking up on them. So you got them 1-3. I got them 2-2 at this point. Now they're at home against the Bears.
Now, I think
have them winning this one, right?
Yeah, I mean, the Bears are always good for what ails you. So I got the Raiders winning this one,
especially because we don't know who will be playing quarterback at that point. And
exactly.
If it is Fields, he'll have a lot of bumps and bruises to go through. They go to the Broncos October 17th, could be against Aaron Rodgers, or they might stand pat. What say you in this game?
Well, if they stand pat, which I think they will, I don't think Aaron Rodgers will be in Denver. I've got the Raiders winning this one 24-17.
So you've got them at 3-3.
Yep.
I've got the Raiders losing in Denver because I still think Denver's going to go out and get Aaron Rodgers. I just don't think Aaron Rodgers just seems hellbound and determined not to be in Green Bay, but we'll see what happens. They get the Eagles the next week in Vegas. What say you?
Because it's in Vegas, and with the Eagles, you never know what you're going to get with the Eagles. I got the Raiders winning 35-25.
Yeah, I think they'll beat the Eagles. The Eagles will be fun to watch, assuming that Hurts is the guy behind the center, but I don't think it's going to equate into a whole lot of wins. Then they're at the Giants the next week, 1:00 kickoff on a Sunday morning. Who you got in that game?
I've got the Raiders winning in a close one. I think the Giants will give them all they can handle, but I think they'll pull it out like 31-30.
All right, and then the Chiefs are at home, they're at home against the Chiefs and at home against the Bengals. How do you see them going in those two games?
I got the Raiders winning at home. I got the Raiders at home. They play real well, and they're the one team. They're one of the few teams I think they've got Kansas City figured out to a certain extent. So I got them winning, and I've got them beating the Bengals.
Okay, so you got them 7-3 now. So now they're on a roll. They're rolling. You got them flying high. They go to Dallas to play the Cowboys.
After playing Kansas City, the Raiders are great for overlooking, and I got the Cowboys in an upset.
Yeah,
I just have a feeling that they're.
It's Thanksgiving Day. I think the Cowboys will get the W on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Day. All right, so you've got them then sitting at 7-5. I also have them at 7-5 at that point. So then you've got at home against Washington. We got to speed this up. Home against Washington, at the Browns, at the Chiefs. Where are they at after those three games?
After those three games, they beat Washington. It's 8. They lose to the Chiefs. The Chiefs revenge themselves, and the Browns win. So they will be at 9-7 after those three games.
Okay. And so then we got to finish it off the Broncos and at the Colts versus the Chargers.
Let's see. Broncos. I got the Raiders sweeping the Broncos. I've got the Colts beating them. So that's 10, 9, and I got the Chargers winning last game of the season.
All right. So where do you have their final prediction at?
Let me see. I've got them at, let's see, 17. I've got them at 10-7, I think.
All right. I've got them at 9-8. So there's not a lot different between us. If they could get that quarterback situation straightened up, I think the Raiders, I really think that's the only thing that's stopping them. If they don't make a hard push for Deshaun Watson and or Aaron Rodgers, I think there's something wrong with them. They cannot be thinking, because if you continue to roll Derek Carr out there year after year after year, you're going to get the same thing over and over and over. You're going to get a team that's around 500. They'll be fun to watch. They may be in the playoff hunt, considering that they've expanded the playoffs. But outside of that, I think it's kind of a dud of a season when you're looking at a team that in the same division, they've got the Kansas City Chiefs, who looks like a juggernaut now. I think the Chargers are improving. And if you don't go and grab Aaron Rodgers, he very well could go to, I think those are the two most likely landing places for Aaron Rodgers is Denver and Vegas. And then the third, I would probably put the Miami Dolphins. I would get in that sweepstakes and see if I can pull them in.
Yeah. If it's possible. I mean, we had talked about this at the end of last season, the speculation that Rodgers might come to Vegas, but I kind of laughed it off. It seemed like they would have to pay a lot to bring him. And I think that's one of the concerns that I think the Raiders have, is that I have a feeling that to get Rodgers to Vegas, I think they're thinking they're going to have to give up at least one number one draft pick, if not more. I think that concerns them, because that's the rumor mill in that kind of trade or pickup, that they're going to have to give up a lot. And I don't know if the Raiders are prepared to give up a lot. I think that's the problem. That's what makes Deshaun Watson make more sense.
Well, I don't know what they're holding on for, because they've made these other trades to bring guys in. And I just feel like that if you're not going to pull the trigger, then what the hell are you doing at this point?
Yeah.
So anyways, it's time to get going here on another edition of the Armchair Quarterbacks. Let's go ahead and turn back time, birthdays, and do our walk-offs. Here we go. All right. On this date, 1964, Mr. Harmon Killebrew hits the longest home run ever hit in Baltimore's Memorial Stadium. 471 feet, clears the hedge in left center. He hits it off Milt Pappas in the 8th inning of a 7-6 loss to the Orioles. If you're not familiar with who Harmon Killebrew is, go back and watch some video of him, y'all. He had freaking tree trunks for arms. Also on this date in 2018, President Trump pardons boxer Jack Johnson for racially orientated criminal conviction, transporting a white woman across state lines. So it took all the way until President Trump did in 2018 to basically pardon that. Obviously, Jack Johnson had been dead for years, but the point was to get it off. It was a stupid ass rule. It was a stupid ass law that was obviously it was a different time in the world, and he got it off the books. And no one ever gives Bad Orange Man credit for things like that. Okay, birthdays.
It's your birthday today.
I'm circling one today. Happy 31st birthday to Joey Logano, who is currently 5th in the NASCAR's Cup standings. That's really starting to make me feel old that Joey Logano is 31.
Yeah.
I feel like that dude is barely drinking age. We don't get a chance to talk much NASCAR on the show these days, but just get people caught up to speed. Trix Jr. is leading. Wait a minute, what is going on here? The way they have this, all right, they had this thing set up so much. Logano is 4th in the standings at 486. Hamlin is leading with 597. I don't know why when I pulled up the standings, they went, I don't know if they went to a freaking alphabetical or what, but anyways, the points leader is Hamlin. Byron is number 2, which I would not have known. I don't watch a whole lot of NASCAR because all the other stuff that's going on. But Logano is 4th. Chase Elliott is 5th. Are you watching much NASCAR these days, sir?
I'll watch a race every once in a while, but I really haven't dug into it like I used to.
I still say they're screwing up by not running these things on Friday nights when it's always like a dead night for sports.
Yeah.
And I think fans would get into it. I think they would get out there and really enjoy going out there on that. And you could still run your other races, your truck races and what. I just run them on the other days. Because I'm sorry, but no one's going to watch NASCAR year round on Sundays once football gets here. So you lose your core audience come September. We've talked about that a million times. All right. What's your walk-off for the day, sir?
Walk-off today, I hate to sound like an obituary, but I got to be, because he was a great quarterback and fun to watch. But Colt Brennan, he was a University of Hawaii quarterback. He didn't have a great NFL career, but he was one of the most entertaining, high prolific passers for the it's the reason you watched a Hawaii game in the first place. For the time he was at Hawaii, he died a couple of days ago. I just wanted to mention it to him because I used to stay up at night and watch him play just because it was just fun to watch him play. And he put up a lot of yards for the University of Hawaii.
Yeah, well, when that news broke, I talked about it briefly that day, and it was shocking too. I also hadn't realized it had been as long as it had been. I felt like Colt Brennan had played like in the past 10 years, but I think it was back in 07 or something like that when they lost to Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. Yeah, it's evidently he got messed up with some drugs. I don't know if they've ever came out with the actual cause of death, but it was being rumored that it was most likely drugs. Hopefully it's not the case, but it doesn't really matter if it was or it wasn't. He's no longer with us. My walk-off for the day is, man, there's a lot of playoff action today in hockey, and that's what I'm going to be locked in on. It's kind of a slow day in baseball, so I think I'm going to try to soak in some hockey and the hockey playoffs and the basketball playoffs. I'm telling you right now, this is just stupid. They are dragging it out again. I mean, again, they have is it 2 games today?
Yeah.
Or is it 2 games tomorrow? It's, let me pull it up real quick. Monday. Yeah, just 2 games today. Miami, Milwaukee, Portland, Denver. I could care less about either one of those. And then tomorrow, I think it's 2 days tomorrow. No, okay, there's a 3rd game. Here's the stupidity of this. Boston and Brooklyn are at 7:30 tomorrow night. The Lakers and Phoenix are at 10. So I think those are the TNT games. And then there's going to be like an NBA TV that's also at 10:30, Clippers and Mavericks.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 of your games are going to start after 10:30 at night. How the hell are you going to help your damn viewership in any way, shape, or form? So dumb. All right, brother, we will see you 2 weeks from today. If I haven't already said it, we wanted to make sure that you knew you were invited to the Casa this Sunday. We're doing a Memorial Day barbecue, hang out at the pool kind of thing. We're getting things started around 2 o'clock on Sunday. All right.
All right. I'll see you.
And if you're ever going to bring your wife, bring her, it's like,
I will.
It's like, it's like
not working all the time.
It's like being friends with Big Bird and he's married to Mr. Stupaluppic. She like he says it exists, but we're starting to wonder. All All right, brother.
All right.
We'll see you next time. We'll be back tomorrow with Justin Waller and Bobby the Kid will be with us. Have a great day, y'all.
Goodbye, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. We're back tomorrow with another show. Well, unless we're fired, we'll talk to you then. Goodbye, sweetheart. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Guys and gals, it's time to go. We'll see you on the next show.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Thanks for listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on these CBS Sports affiliates and catching the show on YouTube Live. We're here weekdays. Find Armchair Quarterbacks on YouTube Live today. Please subscribe and share and take us everywhere you go. The Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for Southern sports talk, live from the First Coast.
Gonna get another cigarette.